All right. Yeah, it's a first go round. Yeah. Just vibing with my pops. About to start, shooting for that 1,000 views on YouTube, Asiatic World TV. I'm Sheik Montezuma Yakama Bey, and this is my father, Sheik Kwame Enoch Bey. And we're just feeling the vibes this evening, having some father-son time, talking about family offices, talking about how community development and community leadership development ought to be a standard operating procedure in regards to being not only American citizen, but a human, and moreover, and abundantly, being a Moorish American. We're Moorish Americans. Not many people know what a Moorish American is and what a Moorish American is not. However, father and son, taking the opportunity to provide a clear pathway for people to have the capability to think, reason, will, and understand. Those are the four elements of what we call the actions of the soul. So that's just a small little introduction, about what's going on our side of the world, dealing in the Pacific Northwest, specifically in Portland, Oregon. But right now, what we're thinking about and talking about is about how to add value to veterans in the agriculture space. We got agriculture, the veteran initiative being cultivated right now, and doing some planning for 2027 Q1 to kick off, and how we're going to launch that with some federal contracts being implemented. My father, he served in the Army, United States Army. I don't have all his credentials memorized, but definitely served some time in South Korea in 1980s. And 90s, forgive me, 1990s, right before, after the 80s, the 80s, but then before Desert Storm. Is that correct?
Right.
So before Desert Storm, I always make jokes, about him, jumping out of airplanes, and shooting at the kamikazes and all this type of stuff. That stuff's made up. But we'll probably have a book about it, science fiction and whatnot, to kind of talk about that experience. But as a father, dad, and young military personnel at that time, like, give me like some your thoughts on your awareness of being in the military, specifically U.S. Army, and with the history of the Army, and like what types of things have shaped your life today. I mean, I have my own perspective as your son, but what would you say your perspective that was gathered from being in the U.S. Army?
All right. So everybody has an experience. So my experience personally, I went in at 18, and so the thing that it did most for me is create patterns of discipline. And after you begin to see and know how to discipline yourself and your mind, then there was the they called it mind over matter. If you don't mind, it don't matter. Reality was you can reach a point of what is called muscle failure, but the body doesn't stop. So you reach that failure, you may fail, right? But give it 5 seconds, you can knock out some more push-ups. Well, when you begin to work in those kind of systems with your discipline, and then you convert that over to your thinking and the way that you move towards goals and achievements, this is the most powerful thing that I learned through the military. We went in with the slogan be all you can be, right? And it was centered in not just becoming a unit. So everyone, if we're gonna move, we move the same, right? Definitely that was strong in there, but you as an individual, you had to be set, ready, and prepared. And then you, in the team aspect, you need to be support and your range buddy or your person's position. Your position is relying on the next, and so you're moving as a unit. So those things for me in the military is what caused me today to begin to move towards unifying systems. You know, I use the term common unity, and what that means to me is know thyself first and foremost. You need to know and understand who you are, what your desires are, what you want to achieve in life. And it's only then can you instruct or teach someone else. So that's the first principle. And so when I use the Army and I think about how I applied that, we all came in, got a head buzzed, and we all looked the same. From that, they began to teach you the lifestyle of a soldier, how to prepare, how to move, how to react, and everybody learned the same principles. Then you're put into a specific MOS, a specific job, right?
Tell them what the MOS is, Dad, for those who don't know.
Well, I just said it was a certain job.
MOS is a mode of operation, operation service, right?
Which is
mode of a service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, that is what you are serving in the military as. So many different positions and all of that. But back to the main thing that I really learned from this is in that you are support. So if you're in the as a transportation or as a trucker, a mechanic, a doctor, or a medic, they say, or food service, either one, it supports the whole, right? So moving as a unit in the thing that you specifically specialize in, you're the specialist in that, and when the need arises, you have to act accordingly. And then in the military, you're still always first and foremost a soldier. So you're always being able to respond in that way and also in your specialty.
Right on. Well, that's just a small sneak peek about what is to come. Peace.
Peace.
And love.